everybody, welcome to Justice Now. In today's episode, we will be covering a trial that took place in New York, which created plenty of controversy. A young teenager was convicted of murder of first degree, premeditated homicide for the murder of his father. He was facing the death penalty. The stakes were high. 12 jurors were responsible for determining his future. The final verdict, not guilty. Before we get started, I want to give a quick shout out to our newest sponsor, Cool Breeze Air Conditioning. We're using it right now, and boy, let me tell you, does it feel good. Julian was just talking about he should have brought his parka, while Juror 3 here, he was wondering, well, penguins might mysteriously appear in our studio. Welcome back. This is Justice Now, your trusted source for breaking legal analysis and social commentary. I'm Maxime.
And I'm Julian, and tonight we bring you exclusive coverage of the controversial verdict in the case that sparked national debate, the 12 Angry Men trial.
An 18-year-old boy was accused of murdering his father. He was found not guilty after a tense jury deliberation. Was justice served or denied? Let's find out.
Let's review the facts of this case. The defendant is a teenager from an unprivileged neighborhood who stood trial in the fatal stabbing of his father. The prosecution presented what seemed clear evidence: a unique switchblade weapon, an eyewitness claiming to have seen the killing, and another who testified hearing the boy threaten his father before he was fatally killed. Initially, the 11 jurors voted guilty. Only one, juror number 8, held out, claiming he had doubts about the case's strength.
Over the course of several hours, this lone juror dismantled the evidence and exposed the hidden bias amongst the jurors. Joining us now in studio is one of the most vocal jurors, juror number 3. Thank you for being here, sir. We appreciate it very much.
Thanks for having me. I still don't agree with the verdict.
Why not? The other jurors were eventually convinced that there was reasonable doubt.
Because it felt like we were making excuses. That kid had a criminal record, he fought with his father, and he had the same kind of knife. You put all that together and it's obvious. But they didn't want to listen, especially number 8. He kept twisting things.
Some critics say your strong emotions were clouding your judgment. How do you respond to that?
I won't deny I was emotional. I've got a son, we're not on good terms, and when I saw that boy on trial, I saw him, but I also believe in discipline. Actions have consequences.
But did you eventually change your vote to not guilty?
I realized I wasn't judging fairly anymore. I wasn't arguing facts. I was arguing my own pain, and I broke down, and I didn't want to, but I had to let go.
Thank you for being honest with us. Now, for a moment, let's dive deeper into some major themes of the case. First, let's talk about personal trauma. When we interviewed juror number 3, we saw how stained relationship with his own son could cloud his judgment. He wasn't judging based on the evidence, but he was reacting to his own pain.
Which brings us to the idea of reasonable doubt. This idea is the cornerstone of any fair justice system.
Exactly. Juror number 8 didn't claim the boy was innocent, only that the evidence wasn't strong enough to convict. And that's enough. The law says if there's reasonable doubt, we must vote not guilty. But the doubts weren't just about facts. Some jurors made assumptions based on who the defendant was. A poor kid from a tough neighborhood.
Juror 10 even says things like, "Those people always lie," showing blatant prejudice. Finally, there's the theme of moral courage. Juror number 8 was the only one who dared to question the majority. He didn't shout, didn't accuse, he calmly stood his ground.
He faced pressure, mockery, and even anger, but he kept asking questions, and that's what changed the outcome. So, as we've seen, 12 Angry Men isn't just about a verdict. It's about justice, humanity, and the difficult path to truth.
And it teaches us that being a juror isn't just a responsibility. It's a moral test.
Before we wrap up, there's one last theme that's very important and we rarely talk about it. but it may be the most important. It's the fragility of democracy.
That's not something most people notice when they watch this trial. How does democracy connect to a jury trial?
Well, think about it. This entire trial comes down to 12 ordinary citizens, not experts, not politicians, just regular people with their own flaws, emotions, and biases. And yet, they're trusted to decide whether someone lives or dies.
This show.
Anyways, before we close, juror number 3. What's your message to the public after living through the experience?
Don't let anger decide for you. Listen, even when it hurts. That's what I learned. Too late, maybe, but I did learn it.
A powerful reminder is that even the loudest voices can change, and that truth, however painful, is always worth seeking.
That's all for tonight. For Justice Now, I'm Maxime.
And I'm Julian. Stay informed, stay engaged, and always question yourself. And that's it.
Thank you. Wait. Before we leave you for the night, we have important news of one of our journalists that's here right now with one of the jurors. Let's take a look at it.
Hi, you are a part of a jury that faced a difficult, emotionally charged case. Before we dive into the details, could you tell us which of the juror you were?
I was the sixth juror.
At the beginning of the deliberation, you voted guilty. What made you start to doubt the case?
Yeah, I voted guilty at first. The evidence seemed strong, and I thought if the boys was on trial, he probably did it. I'm not the type to question things right away. I like to be sure before I say anything. But as we talk and I listened to the others, especially juror number 8, I started to think more about the people in the case. The old man who said he heard the boy yell. Someone said he might not have been able to get to the door that fast. And the woman across the street. Maybe she wasn't wearing her glasses when she said she saw the murder. Little things like that started to add up. At first they didn't seem big, but together they made me doubt. And that's when I realized we had to be sure, and I wasn't sure anymore.
And do you believe justice was truly served in the end?
Yes, I believe justice was served. We couldn't be certain he was guilty, and in a case like that, doubt means you have to let him go. It was the fair thing to do in my opinion.
Thank you.